everybody, and welcome in to Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. I'm your host, Trage. It is Monday, July 8th. A fantastic Monday, July 8th. Last week got hectic. With the holiday, we had 4th of July. It got hectic. Didn't get in my weekend show like I was hoping for. Didn't get in the weekend show. It was a productive weekend, but not a whole lot happening at times, right? You get some of them weekends. You get some of them weekends out there. But hey, brand new week. We're getting to the Fresh on the Farm report today. We're going to get to it. We got some Bucks talk to get into. We got a lot of Brewers to talk about over this last week and a lot of fan reactions that I've been seeing out there. And, well, if you hear it in the background as I'm shooting, I'm sorry for that. But as I'm recording right now, it is downpour. It is a downpour rain right now in my hometown, central Wisconsin here. We got, over the last hour, I believe we've had 2 inches of rain. Is what I got in my old reader outside. 2 inches of rain. Some spots have seen 2 to 4.5 inches of rain just in Clark County, just in the Greenwood, like Willard, all that kind of area there. So crazy stuff going on in central Wisconsin right now. But hey, lots to get into today. Lots to get into. Right away, I want to look at the Bucks. I just want to talk about the Bucks real quick. Saw some developing news, I guess you could say, out of the Bucks. Not just they did sign, which I thought was a pretty good signing. I don't know what, everybody out there thinks, but I thought it was a pretty good signing there. Torian Prince, the Bucks did sign him along with Deleon Wright. So we talked about the Wright deal with the Bucks there, but now you got Prince, and I was just going to pull up his stats. So last season, not a bad year. Not a bad year for him last year. In 78 games played, 27 minutes per game, he was 8.9 points per game, rebounds 2.9, assists 1.5. Not a bad overall. Plays the power forward position, 6'6", not an overly huge, height guy, but got some build to him. He's the classic, if you remember him from his time at Baylor when they played, I believe it was Yale, and they lost to Yale. And they asked him, and it still makes me laugh, but sometimes it depends the way you look at it. After the game, they talked to him, and they said, so Yale out-rebounded you guys. How was that possible? Or not? Well, along those lines, the reporter did. And he goes, well, they jumped up, and you know how you get a rebound. You jump up, and you grab the ball, and you come down with it. And they got more of those than we did. And that made me laugh. That made me laugh because it was just, listening to the question, it was one of those open-ended questions, right? Like, how did they get more rebounds than you? Well, they got the ball more, right? He just basically answered as simple as that, you could go with the complex, like they out-hustled you, everything like that. No, he just said that straight up. I thought, to me, I thought it was funny, but a lot of people read it different ways there. Looking at his 3-point percentage last season, 39% from downtown. He averaged about 1.8 to 4.6 threes per game there, and 39%. He's a career 37% three-point shooter. So it doesn't take a lot of them, but when he does, solid, right? Solid. He's about 50%. Getting close to 50% there on games. And then you look at him, 44% from the floor. He shot last season there with the Lakers. He's a career 42% from the floor. Looking at him, free throw line, 73%. He's solid there. Rebounding, he's always been around that 3 mark. He actually averaged his best year with the Brooklyn Nets there, rebounding the basketball. He had 6 rebounds per game there in 61 games, 29 minutes. He was averaging a lot more minutes there last season. And even you look years past here, after that season with the Brooklyn Nets, he played 12 games with them year after. Well, that was bubble. That was COVID year there. And then you move forward there. He played minimal minutes with the Cavs, the Timberwolves for 2 seasons there, then the Lakers last year. A solid ad, right? He's not your over the top. And, a lot of people out there are complaining the Bucks aren't making any of these classy moves, these high price, like, oh my goodness, blow you out of the water moves. And I get it, right? You want to see the Bucks add guys who you feel are going to contribute to them winning a title next year, right? You want that. Look at what the Bucks have. Looking at what the Bucks have in-house with Giannis, Dame, Middleton, I mean, those guys are coming back. You have Bobby right now coming back if they don't do something silly and trade him, right? And right now you do have Brooke Lopez coming back. But you look at the core three. That's the guys that you expect to do all the business for you. Those are your scorers, right? You need guys who are going to contribute off the bench. I'm not saying that you don't need these guys to contribute. You need defense, and you need guys who are going to contribute points-wise off the bench for you. Looking at Prince, I mean, 0.9 turnovers per game for him there, but he averaged 0.7 steals and 0.4 blocks per game. So, same like I was talking about with the smaller frame there. He's not a big body guy. He's not a big shot block guy. But, I mean, he's going to be a good power forward for you. A guy who can he can defend. I know he can defend. I watched him at Baylor, and I've watched him a little bit here in the league, and I know this guy can defend, right? So you add him with Deleon Wright, you have some decent defenders now coming off the bench there with a little bit of scoring that goes along with it, and a little bit of veteran leadership in both of them, a little bit of time in the league between them both there. I mean, for me, I think they're two solid adds. I really do. I think they're adding a lot of depth pieces in this offseason so far. Now, are they shiny? No, they're not shiny pieces. They're not Paul Georges, right? They're not even, Seth Curry or any of that, right? They're just average guys that you need off the bench. Teams got those. I mean, the Celtics have those, right? Al Horford isn't a crazy talent anymore. He's solid, right? Sam Hauser, solid. Pritchard, solid. You have your stars. Tatum, Brown, Porzingis was a star last year. For the Celtics there, Drew Holiday. Can't forget about him. Miss Drew, but, hats off to you, Drew. Doing fantastic stuff as usual. But, I mean, you have your stars, right? And then you go and you have your average guys who contribute. They play good defense. They, do the little things in between, and they score you some buckets here and there. But you're not going to rely on these guys to give you 20 points. That's not their game. Dame's game is giving you more 20 plus. Giannis is 20 plus. Middleton, that's where you want him, is 20 plus. Those are your guys that you're going to want the offense out of. You want a little bit of offense out of these guys, but you want them to be solid role players, right? Guys who can fill gaps. And that's who I think the Bucks did. I think they did good in the two moves that they have made so far. And I believe they still have room, right? And they can make even more room. I am now seeing that the Bucks do have an asking price on Brooke Lopez, a first-round draft pick. Now, if it would have been in this last draft, I feel like teams would have probably jumped all over that because this last draft was bad. But I guess my only thing with that is Brooke Lopez has a decent-sized contract. I believe he's still up in the 25 mil. So a team would have to be willing to take that contract on and make that trade. There is one team that comes to mind that I would call. I would call this team and I would say, hey, we already made a trade, or we already got a guy inside our own conference there. And that's mopping us, who used to be on our ball club. How about you guys make this trade? I would call up, and I don't know if they're going to be able to do it either, but I would call up the New York Knicks, and I would ask them about Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson, to me, he's not, I'm not getting a three-point shooter like I have in Brooke. Brooke's main game is out at three-point line. Mitchell Robinson's not a three-point shooter. He doesn't even shoot threes. You look at his career stats there with the Knicks, he hasn't even shot a three. Like, that is not his game. He's an interior big who is about, looking at it, he's a career 70% from the floor. Last season did struggle a little bit. Only played in 31 games. Started 21, played in 31. 24 minutes per game. 57% from the floor, but you look at his career, 70% from the floor for him there, and you look at his rebounding. This is where I love what I would see out of Mitchell Robinson, and this is why I want him on the Bucks. Because for me, the Bucks have a lot of shooters. I shouldn't say that. They have scorers on this roster. Giannis, Dame, Middleton, Bobby Portis. Would hope that Connaughton turns into something. Andre Jackson Jr., I believe, can be a scorer. So can AJ Green. And Bieshkamp, I would hope that they develop him into something, right? But you have shooters on this team. there was lots of times where I thought Brooke Lopez was actually taken away from some of the other shots from Dame, from Middleton, guys like that. So I look at Mitchell Robinson, I say, this guy averages last season 8.5 rebounds per game. Year before that, 9.4 rebounds per game. 7.9 rebounds per game in his career. That's what I want to see, right? Brooke Lopez, I guess I did not have his stats up there, but I could pull them up real quick. I would be surprised if he averaged more than 2. If he got 3, I'd be surprised. 5. He surprised me. 5 rebounds per game. But we could go back and we could look all over at the stats, and I could see games where Brooke gave me 2 rebounds. A 7-footer was giving me 2 rebounds. You can't have that. You need this guy. You need your big to be getting you rebounds. You need your big to be able to play the post, right? Brooke Lopez couldn't play the post. He couldn't play the post last year. I saw him play the post a little bit in the Pacers series, and that was it. That's all that I can recall of Brooke really trying to step in there and make his presence known in the post area. He jacks up a lot of threes. And when he gets cooking, I'll give it to him. When he gets cooking, Brooke Lopez is a very good shooter. And he can knock him down, right? He can knock him down. But when he is cold and he is trying to shoot his way out of it, it is just not good. It is not good. And he's that one-dimensional, he got to be that one-dimensional guy for me, and this might be just my opinion on that, but he became that one-dimensional guy for me there who, when that three ball was not falling, it just wasn't going to happen that night. He would go for like 11. He would go for 12, right? He wasn't going to score me buckets. That's my worry. Last year, 12 points per game. 12 points per game last year, which isn't bad. Not terrible, but he shot 48% from the field, and he shot 36% from 3. You look at his career progressively, he's been shooting a lot more threes and turning down a lot more inside game, playing the post, right? I mean, you look at him years past, back when he was with the Nets in 16, he was averaging about 8 for 15 field goals per game there. 8, 4, 15. That's where he was sitting at in his percentages and wasn't shooting a lot of threes. Then all of a sudden he hits this little thing with the Lakers, and then he comes over to Milwaukee, and then it's firing threes. Last season he was about 2 for 5. 2 for 5 per game on threes. Not terrible, right? Not terrible. He shot 36%. Not terrible. I want a big that can rebound. I want a big who's going to get after it. And I want a big who's athletic and can defend, right? And that's not Brooke Lopez anymore. If you could get an athletic big who could defend without having to get rid of Brooke Lopez, sure. But where are you going to get that now? You have to make a trade. And in that trade, you need to return a big man, right? I thought, honestly, the Bucks would have made a move like this already. Found a big man out there. No such thing so far. I've heard the stinking rumor about Andrew Wiggins. I've seen that a lot. I don't want Andrew Wiggins. I'll be honest with you. We don't need Andrew Wiggins. I don't think. I think he's had a little bit of a down spell. Now, I'm not saying he won't turn it around, but I think he's had a little bit of a down spell. He got a big payday, and it's kind of went downhill. I don't see that benefiting the Bucks in any way, getting a guy like Andrew Wiggins. But for me, Mitchell Robinson, you go younger, you get a guy who can rebound, you get a guy who can score on the interior. That's what I want to see. Maybe Mitchell Robinson somehow finds out how to shoot a 3. I mean, you look at Brooke Lopez, he wasn't shooting threes in his first couple, or at least first 5 or 6, dang near 7 years in the league. He wasn't shooting a 3. Then all of a sudden he found it. Maybe Mitchell Robinson finds it. You never know. But for me, I would make phone calls. I would make phone calls and see what I can do. Is it going to be right? Maybe not, but I would see what I can do. But in other Bucks news, just to wrap it up there, Giannis did power Greece to a win over Slovenia, and they have advanced to play in the Olympics. The first time that Giannis will play in the Olympics. So great news there. Great for Giannis. He's been playing well for Greece, which is great for Bucks fans to see Giannis playing well again. And also seeing Greece and Giannis making it to the Olympics for the first time. That is great. That is great news right there for Giannis and the Grease. I don't think they have a mascot, so I'm just going to go with the Grease. The Grease, they seem like ramblers. They seem like ramblers over there. I don't know. But with that, we got to get to some Brewer talk. We got to get to Fresh on the Farm yet today. So before we get there, I want to mention the great sponsors of the show here quick. First, Game Day Supply in Alaska. Do you have a sports club or team? Are you looking for some sweet custom uniforms or apparel? Check out the awesome crew at Game Day Supply in Alaska to help your team get the sweetest gear. Find them on Facebook at Game Day Supply or online at GameDaySupply.net. Also, Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood, Wisconsin. If you've been injured recently, whether you were mowing lawn or maybe you were walking outside and you slipped on all this mud that we got going on, whatever it was, you felt something pop, you felt something that didn't feel right, and you think you might need to be seen by a physical therapist. Maybe your doctor told you, go see a physical therapist. Call down there, get yourself down to Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood, Wisconsin. Chad will get you right. He'll get you back mowing the lawn, back walking across your lawn safely. Whatever it is, he'll get you back there feeling better than ever. Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood, Wisconsin. Sports scenes, sports cards, and memorabilia. Located in the Marshfield Mall in Marshfield, Wisconsin. You got to get down there and see Al. He has everything you need for your sports hobbyist or enthusiast, whatever it is. He's got it all. Model stock cars, sports cards. You looking for jerseys? You need some jerseys? He's got jerseys down there. He's got all kinds of memorabilia. You got to get yourself down there and see Al. Great stuff. Great. Al's great. The store's great. Everything's great. Get down there in the Marshfield Mall, sports scene in Marshfield, Wisconsin. Marshfield Motor Speedway is located just 3 miles outside of Marshfield on County Road H. Get down there this summer. Tons of family fun for all ages. Great food, great drinks, great atmosphere. What better on a great summer day / night than getting down to the track and having a great meal while watching some great racing? There ain't nothing better than that. Find the schedule online or on Facebook. Just search Marshfield Motor Speedways. Otherwise, stay tuned on my Facebook page, Wisconsin Sports on the Go Trade. I make sure I share it out on there too. Pittsville Farm and Home Center. At the store, they serve you anything from hydraulic hoses to red roses. Stop in and see the awesome crew at Pittsville Farm and Home Center in Pittsville, Wisconsin. And also your hometown team, Century 21 Gold Key Realty. Call Peggy, Sue, or Anna to find your dream home, or if you're looking to sell. Find them on Facebook at your hometown team, Century 21 Gold Key Realty, or stop in and see them at their location in Marshfield, Wisconsin there. But with that, let's get to some Brewers. Let's get to some Brewers. Let's get to the Fresh on the Farm report. Let's get to it all today. So we did see the Brewers play a weekend series with the Los Angeles Dodgers. And, well, game 1 and 2 didn't go exactly as you would have wished, right? I mean, coming off of a series tie there with the Colorado Rockies, you were hoping to go into the weekend, maybe pick up a win, maybe pick up 2 wins, maybe, try and take 2 of 3 from the Dodgers. Well, Brewers take 1 of 3 from the Dodgers there. Friday night's game, 8-5 finish there. The Dodgers out-hit the Brewers 10-4 in that one. It was a slugfest for the Dodgers in that one, and I mean, a lot of it coming off the bat of Will Smith. Will Smith went deep in that game multiple times. That was in that game there. He had a couple of them in there. Yeah, he had 3 home runs in that game. 3 home runs in that game. Vargas had a home run. It was a slugfest. It was a slugfest in that one. I mean, they held Ohtani down 0 for 5 in that one, so I guess that's good news. Tyler Glasnow, the Brewers did tag him. 6 innings, 3 hits, 5 earned runs in that one, 7 strikeouts, 1 home run given up. The Brewers did tag Glasnow. I believe that was our night of seeing Rhys Hoskins hit a grand slam. What are the odds? I mean, what are the odds the Brewers hit a grand slam? It seems crazy, doesn't it? It seems crazy that the Brewers would hit a grand slam. Not so much. I mean, that's the way they do it. If the bases are loaded, we're either hitting a grand slam or nothing's happening. That's what I've come to the realization of here. But Brewers, I mean, they're held in check for the most part in this game here. Savali did make his Brewers debut, and before everybody starts throwing this guy, I mean, we're trying to throw this guy back on a bus and send him back to Tampa. I mean, we're done with this guy. Pump the brakes. This guy gets traded, shows up, isn't even with the team yet. He goes to LA and makes the start that night. Let's just simmer down, right? Let's just simmer down. It's not like this is we didn't make a trade for a Cy Young pitcher here. Let's just simmer down and let him get another start in. Let him get another start. It takes a couple starts. That's what I said with Dallas Keuchel. I said, give me 3 starts, right? The first one, he was barely with the team too, and they threw him out there to start. And I mean, he did pitch terrible for the first couple, and then he kind of got tagged. But I was like, just give him 3. Just give him 3 starts, and then we can, really figure out what we think of this guy. Same with Savali. I'm in the same boat. Let him work a little bit. And then we worry about it there. So Savali gets tagged a little bit in this one, but all in all, the offense just couldn't get nothing going in this game. 2 for 3 with runners in scoring position. They left 1 guy on base. Nothing was happening. Nothing was happening in this game here for the Brewers. Actually, Paguero did end up taking the loss. For the Brewers in this one. Brian Hudson did end up giving a run there, and then we saw Paguero come in, gave up 3 runs in the later innings there, 2/3 of an inning pitch, and then Milner for a third and 2 hits there. So the Brewers pitching staff in this one kind of got roughed up. And looking in total in this series, the Brewers pitching staff did get a number taken out of them in the first couple games there. Looking at game 2 of the series, the Brewers jumped out 1-0 lead, and then the Dodgers came right back with 3 runs in the bottom of the first. That set it up 3-1, and then we saw the Brewers add 1 in the fourth. Rhys Hoskins did go deep once again in this game here, but then we see the Brewers add 1 in the 8th. They tie it up at 3, and then the Dodgers go for 2 in the bottom of the 8th, and that was it. That was it. Brian Hudson in this one, he got tagged for 2 runs in that third of an inning there, gave up 2 home runs in that, taking the loss in this one. He blew it there in the bottom of the 8th. Freddie Peralta, 4 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, a home run given up. Freddie, he pitched with a lot of guts in this one. It was not there for Freddie. And he got out of a couple of jams. That impressed me. He did. I mean, his stuff was not working. The Dodgers were seeing it. They were feeling it. They were tagging him. And Freddie worked his way out of problems. So hats off to Freddie, working himself out of problems there, only giving up 3 runs. He only went 4 innings, which, 104 pitches in 4 innings, that's not going to get her done to the standards of a lot of people out there. But all in all, he pitched with some guts. He pitched with some grit in this one. So Brewers take the loss. Game 2 of the series. Churro, he led off a couple times this weekend here. We saw Torian in the lineup, but Torian near the bottom. We saw Churro lead off, and Churro, continues to hit the baseball, so that's why he got the little bit of a bump up there in the order there. We see him go 1 for 4 in game 2. Brewers 5 hits, Dodgers 9 hits in that one. Brewers with 2 errors. 2 errors in this one by Adames and Monasterio there. Adames a fielding error and Monasterio a throwing error in this one. So errors definitely do not benefit the Brewers in game 2. But looking at game 3, this is where the Brewers bounced back. Had a pretty darn good game. 9-2 finish in this one. Had 2 runs in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, 1 in the 7th, 2 in the 8th, and 2 in the top of the 9th. They just kept tacking on runs. That's something that I've always wanted. I want to see more out of this Brewers team. The ability, they showed a stat. The Brewers have some of the most they have, I can't remember what the rank was, but they have some of the most runs in 1 inning, right? So they're sitting there and they're tacking on a lot of runs in 1 inning, and then they try to ride that out. I love to see when the Brewers can spread that out. Right? You get a couple early on, and then you get a couple in the middle innings, then you get a couple late in that one. That sets you up. It makes it seem like the offense is clicking the entire game. You get towards the end there, and it goes like the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, and the Brewers can't get nothing going across. This might be 5-4, right? It might be 5-4. They scored 5 earlier. But the bats have cooled off now, right? Because you get to 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, and you're not able to push across runs. It makes you worry that you're going to be able to figure out how to push across the run late in the game because you haven't been able to do it for the previous innings there. So that's kind of something I want to see more out of the Brewers. This game, we saw it. So I thought that was great stuff out of the Brewers in this one. The Brewers, Dallas Keuchel, I'm going to tell you this. For as much hate as he's been getting, as much hate as I saw he got after this performance in this one, for his walks, he had 5 walks in total on this game here. 3 hits, 5 walks, 0 earned runs, 5 1/3 inning. Come on. I mean, okay, yeah, 5 walks, great. Whoop-de-doo. He walked 5 guys. That made the pitch count go way up through the roof. But to go 4 1/3, walk 5 guys, give up 0 runs to a Dodgers lineup that in game 1 of this series put up 8 runs on you, and in game 2 put up 5 runs, and you give up 0 after a 4 1/3, and they still have, I mean, they not like they benched anybody. Ohtani led off. Will Smith batted second. Freddie Freeman was playing in this one. Teoscar Hernandez was playing. Pegas was playing. Vargas, Rojas, Kike Hernandez, Chris Taylor. They were playing everybody. So, just like I said about Freddie, Dallas Keuchel pitched with some grit in this one. He pitched with some tenacity, and he got himself out of a jam in the middle innings there. He got himself out of a jam. I believe it was in the 4th. It was in the 4th that he got himself out of the jam there with a couple of guys on. And then they brought him back out. He got an out, and then he gave him a hit, and that was it. So, I mean, solid day. I thought it was a solid outing out of Keuchel. Nothing crazy. Keuchel's not going out there. He has 0 strikeouts on the game. He's not striking on everybody. He's walking 5 guys in 4 1/3 innings. Not great, but hopefully that doesn't stay. But for 0 runs against a Dodgers lineup that's been completely just torching your pitching staff for an entire weekend, I'll take that. I'll take that. Because then we see Jacob Junis come in, 2 2/3, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 Ks, 1 home run given up there. No walks, but the runs were starting to come across a little bit there. Was Dallas Keuchel's outing really that bad? I get it. 5 walks. It was a struggle for him sometimes to find the strike zone. I get that. Also a little bit of patience, too. I mean, he's trying to be patient. Look at the guys who drew the walks in this one. Will Smith. I tell you what, I'd walk him, too. He had 3 or 4 home runs in a row in his at-bats. I mean, I'd walk Will Smith, too. Freddie Freeman drew a walk. He's batting .301. Maybe be a little bit careful with him. Teoscar Hernandez drew a walk there. We saw Rojas draw a walk. Chris Taylor drew a walk in this one. Yeah, those are all the guys that, I mean, there was no other walks besides what Keuchel did. So, it doesn't make me nervous. It does make me nervous. I felt like Keuchel pitched a solid game in this one. Peguero then came in. He pitched solid. He had a little bit of a struggle a couple nights earlier. Comes into this one, inning, 3 strikeouts, great stuff. And then we saw Trevor McGill for an inning, 1 hit, 3 strikeouts. Not in a save situation because it was 9-2. But great stuff. Great stuff out of McGill there. Brewers, they get 1. They get 1 in the series there. They end the road trip 3-4 on the road trip there. So, not great. Not great. They won 3 out of 7 games out there on the West Coast. Something about the West Coast. I don't get it. I don't get it. The West Coast eats the Brewers. I don't know why. Either that or we get guys hurt. One of the two. We get a lot of those too. It's not always that, it's not always that we see the Brewers lose games out there. We lose players too. I mean, Garrett Mitchell last season, he got hurt against the Mariners out on the West Coast. We just see guys I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but that West Coast, those West Coast teams, for some reason, just get to us. Just get to us there. I mean, you look at, what's their name? I mean, the Rockies. We hadn't won out there in how many games? They are, right now, I was just looking at the Brewers there and seeing where they sat against NL West teams record-wise. I mean, they are not hitting well against NL West teams, or as well. NL East teams eat us alive. We're batting .217 against the NL East right there. But 258, 110 strikeouts against them there, 8 home runs, 51 RBIs. I mean, not bad. Not bad at all. They just, something about that NL West, I don't know what it is. It eats them alive. It eats them alive out there. I mean, looking at the record, looking at them against certain teams here, I mean, it's just something about the West Coast. I don't know if it's the time difference or what. But it gets to the Brewers. It gets to the Brewers out there. I saw a lot of people, they're trying to throw Garrett Mitchell out already. That was one of the complaints I saw after the weekend was Garrett Mitchell. They want Garrett Mitchell gone. They've had enough of him already. And, I mean, I get it, right? You're saying this guy, you don't think he's seeing the ball well and everything like that. I get it. But I can say that about a lot of guys in this lineup. He just came back. He just came back. Give him time. Give him a few games. Give him a few weeks. And then let's look at Garrett Mitchell. We have outfielders that can play. Churiel and Frelick and Perkins and Yelich. We have outfielders that can play, right? Give Mitchell time to try and figure it out. I mean, he ended the game today with a double. He had a double late in this one against the Dodgers, brought in a run. I thought that was great because I had just read the comments out there about people complaining about Mitchell. And all of a sudden he ropes a double. I'm like, yep, there you go. There you go. You heard him talking about you. It's like me and Yelich. Yelich hears me talking crap about him. He starts whacking at it. I mean, he had a couple home runs over the weekend too, Christian Yelich, and it was impressive. Going dead center with a couple of them. Yelich had a great series there against the Dodgers. Continues his hot hitting. I mean, this guy, Yelich, has been ridiculous on the season there so far. But getting back to Mitchell, I mean, yeah, it does look like he's not seeing the ball the greatest up there. He's, getting out in front of balls. He's rolling over some things out there. Yeah, 100%. I think Mitchell is a little bit rusty. He came up, and I get where people say, well, send him down to the minors to figure it out. I'm going to tell you this. If he doesn't figure it out at the bigs, sometimes it doesn't help sending him back to the minors. Sometimes it doesn't. Because the good pitching, the great pitching that he's seeing right now, and I'm not going to, the Dodgers had some pretty good pitching. The Rockies, subpar. They have some decent guys with the Rockies. But the pitching he's going to see at the big league level is the stuff he's got to see. I mean, I heard from Gary Varsho himself. I mean, if everybody out there knows Dalton Varsho from the Blue Jays there, he played with the Arizona Diamondbacks before that. If you know him, his father played in the league long ago. Played for the Cubs, Phillies. He's all over the place. He was a scout for a while and everything like that. I always remember what he told me. You cannot judge a guy very well at the AAA level. Simply because you might be able to watch the mechanics side of it and everything like that. But you can get away with things at the minor league levels that you can't get away with the big league levels. Joey Wiemer is a prime example. Keston Hiura is a big-time example. Keston Hiura could sit in AAA Nashville, and he could have sat there for 20 years. And he would have looked like he was the Barry Bonds of AAA. This guy would have been 30 home runs and just rocking the ball and just fantastic stuff. Right? But why did the Brewers never call him back up then? This guy hit 300 in the minors for the longest time. Why was he just constantly sitting down there? There was a reason. There was a reason behind it. Because they still did not see something that they liked when they watched him. And it took me a while to get that, to understand that, right? Because I always thought, why if Keston here is hitting 305 or 310 at the minor league levels consistently and he's got 20-some home runs, why is he still down at AAA? But then you watch him come up to the bigs. And it all changed. Pitching's different. Pitching's different when you get up to the big leagues. It all is, baseball is baseball, right? But the good pitchers, the best pitchers, if you're a good pitcher, you're in the bigs already. They fast forward you. Unless if you need work, they fast forward you through time. Abner Uribe, he jumped from AA up to the big leagues. I mean, you see some of these guys who jump like that. Look at Paul Skeens, right? Now I get he's playing on the Pirates, so you could say different story, different team, right? But I don't think so. If the Brewers had Paul Skeens, do you really think we would have let Paul Skeens sit down there in AA? If we're ran pretty poorly, yes, 100%. But I don't think we are, and I don't think teams are that stupid out there. They would pull a guy up like that, right? So you don't see guys like that. You might see them for a short stint, but they're not there for long. As we saw with Paul Skeens, he flew through the system. Hunter Green flew through the systems. It's just how it works. It's just how it goes. That's how you get these young guys, these real young guys who make MLB debuts nowadays. It's different. It's different than a lot of people like to think, but that's how it goes. That's how it goes there. So, I'm not worried about Mitchell yet. I wanted Mitchell back. I still like Mitchell. I think Mitchell has a ton of upside. I want him to get some at-bats. I want him to get some time. And then when he gets those at-bats and he gets that time, then I'm going to sit there. And if I got to worry about it, I'll worry about it there. I'll worry about it then and there. I think he needs a week or two. And then we can really judge this guy. Then we can sit there and put him underneath a microscope and say, do we want him? Do we not? I get it. I don't. Okay, so that's where I'm at with the Garrett Mitchell talk right there. But with that, it is time. We got to get to some Fresh on the Farm. We got to get to the Fresh on the Farm report. We got to see how guys are doing at the minor league system right now. So right away, we got to look AAA Nashville right now. And the Nashville Sounds, first half was, they ended the first half there already. Moving into the second half right now. Then the first half of the season, they were 5th in the West, 38-37. Right now, they are sitting, to start out the second half here, in that International West division there. They are 6-6 right now. They're tied for third place right now in their divisional race there. And the Sounds, they have some decent bats going on down there. Tyler Black, as we know, Black's been jumping around back and forth. Brewers back down to AAA and then back up here. And Tyler Black, over his last few, he's been a solid bats. Solid at-bats for him there. Looking at his last game out there for AAA Nashville, he went 2 for 4. He had a solid game against Memphis there. 2 for 4 on the game. He had 1 double. He had 3 total bases in that one, 2 RBIs. A solid day out of Tyler Black. In total down there so far, he's batting .286. Like I said, he's bounced around. He's been up to the big league roster. He's been down. He's batting .286 down there, 10 home runs, 46 RBIs for him down there, 65 hits, 9 doubles, 4 triples. The guy, as we hoped, right? As we hoped, he's been playing well. And he continues to play well no matter what level he goes to. And we can't wait. We can't wait to see him up at the big league level, hopefully producing for the Brewers here in years to come. Brewer Hicklin, it's been about all year for Brewer Hicklin. Brewer Hicklin, right fielder, .278 average, 16 home runs, 47 RBIs, 76 strikeouts, 38 walks on the season there, 25 stolen bases. This guy can run. This guy can flat out run. 13 doubles, 4 triples on the year. This guy can flat out pick him up and put him down there. A solid outfielder. This is another guy who potentially the Brewers are, we could see at some point this year for the Brewers here. Looking at his last game out there for him against Memphis. Last game out against Memphis there, he was 1 for 4. He had 4 total bases. He had a home run in that one, 2 RBIs. Solid day out of Brewer Hicklin. This guy, looking at his home run totals since July 1st, he's got three home runs. Since July 1st there, he's got 5 RBIs. Since July 1st, he's got 8 hits in 25 at-bats, 18 total bases. This guy, he's a slugging machine. He's a slugging machine, that's for sure, on the year. So that's Brewer Hicklin. A little bit about Brewer Hicklin there on this young second half of the season there for the AAA Nashville Sounds down there. But looking back at the rest of the team down there right now, we see some up and down batting average right now. Oliver Dunn continues to be out right now, so he isn't playing anywhere at the moment. Outside of that, Joey Wiemer struggled, .219 average, 2 home runs. I don't know. Maybe because they messed with his swing and changed it so it looks like something. Now he can't hit the home run ball. I don't know what it is. Francisco Mejia, Brewers added him earlier this year. 5 home runs, .249 batting average down there. So that's where the Brewers currently sit hitting-wise down there at AAA Nashville. Looking at some of the pitchers down there, Chad Patrick continues his fantastic year. 7-1, 2.89 ERA on the season in 12 starts, 74 innings, 76 strikeouts. Solid work out of Chad Patrick. And then, it goes downhill. Aaron Ashby, 7.89 ERA, 12 starts, 59 innings, 56 strikeouts. Not great for Aaron Ashby. Outside of that, we see some solid work out of a couple of pitchers on there. Nolan Blackwood in 19 games pitched. He's got 20 innings, 17 strikeouts, 2.70 ERA for him down there. Darryl Tomlinson in 15 games. He's got a 2.57 ERA down there, 14 innings and 17 strikeouts there. DL Hall, DL Hall's he's slowly working his way back. 6 starts, 2.53 ERA, 10 innings pitched, and 8 strikeouts. The innings aren't really ramping up for DL yet. He's not really ramping up the innings. I could see it's going to be a toss-up, but I could see if DL Hall were to come back, I could see a Giannis getting maybe moved into the starting role and then transitioning DL Hall into more of a long reliever, right? I don't know what it is, but he's not. He just doesn't seem like he has the ability to go long into games. That's from what I can see. It doesn't seem like he can go long into games. So that'd be the only thing that worries me and why I would have him be a long reliever and opener, a guy who can pitch you a couple innings and then you move on. Maybe Bryce Wilson's better out of the bullpen. I'll be honest with you. Bryce Wilson's better out of the bullpen. I love what I see out of Bryce Wilson in the bullpen. I don't love what I see out of Bryce in the starting rotation. Maybe he becomes the permanent opener for Bryce Wilson. And then you just throw DL Hall in there until you don't feel comfortable with DL Hall, and then you pull him and you put Bryce Wilson in. Maybe that's a way to work it. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how the Brewers work this thing moving forward there. But with that, getting to the Biloxi Shuckers, we got to get down and look at Biloxi there, the AA team for this Brewers team. And they're sitting 8-4 in the second half right now. First half, they were 4th in the South. They were 30-37. Not a great start to this young season, or to this season for them. Second half, starting out a lot better. 8-4. To start the second half down there. And that has a lot to do with some of the big boppers that they got going on there. Mike Bovey, this guy is, I'm telling you what, if there's going to be a guy who's going to fly through the Brewers system next season, it's going to be Mike Bovey. I could see it. He plays first base for him down there. He's a third base, first base. He can play them both, but this is a guy who hit .545 down there at high A. He was hitting .545. They moved him up. He's still hitting .286. 3 home runs, 3 triples, 9 doubles, 60 hits, and 210 at-bats. He's got 20 RBIs. Strikeout to walk, 41 strikeouts to 20 walks. Not the greatest in the world. You're not going to write home about it. But, this guy can hit. He's got an electric stick. He's a pretty good defender with an electric stick. I believe this guy is going to fly up. Once he gets on the radar, once they need somebody for third base or first base, which could potentially happen next season with Adames and Rhys Hoskins potentially going elsewhere. This is a guy. This is a guy that I'd be looking at and I'd be paying attention to. Brock Wilken, he's had an injury-plagued season down there. Third baseman, pretty good prospect. He's had an injury-plagued season so far, though. 214 at-bats, 48 hits, 9 doubles, 9 home runs, 30 RBIs, 66 strikeouts, 28 walks so far in the season. Strikeout numbers a little bit alarming there for him, but Brock Wilken is still a great talent for this Brewers team down there. Noah Campbell, left fielder, batting .273 down there at the AA level, and Carlos D. Rodriguez, .296 in 253 at-bats. He's got 75 hits on the season. 75 hits. So Carlos D. Rodriguez is the man. He's a big cog in the engine for this team. Other guys, Adam Hall. Adam Hall's got limited time down there with that .326 average. Connor Scott, he's only got 3 at-bats, hitting that .333, so nothing really to look at with those guys there. But pitching-wise, this is where you got to look if you want to see some solid arms, and this is Jacob Misiorowski. This is one of the top Brewer prospects. This is a guy with an electric arm, triple-digit stuff, staying 6'7". I just noticed that, 6'7". Holy crap, this guy has a mountain of a man. The Brewers got Brian Hudson and Jared Canning already. Add this guy in there. That's some height. You can start a basketball team with the Brewers with their pitchers. Holy crapola, they got some height here. But looking at him in his last outing there, in his last outing against Mississippi, he went 6 1/3, 2 hits, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts on that one. Game before that, I mean, looking at the month of June in total, he had 24 strikeouts in total. In the month of June, he gave up 13 runs in June, got himself, he had that ERA down to 2.98 heading into June, and then it kind of spiked up there a little bit for him. But Mizorowski's been solid. He's been solid, and the thing that worried me about him was the ability for him to go deep into games, and he's been proving that he can. I mean, his last outing, 6 1/3. He pitched 21 innings in the month of June there. His last outing didn't help him out there, 2 1/3 inning there. Outside of that, he had 6 against on June 19th, June 25th. He had 5 2/3. So Jacob Mizorowski, he's been improving, been pitching solid. The Brewers, they know how to work with arms. So if there's a team that's going to make Jacob Mizorowski, I mean, if they're going to make him, it's going to be right there. It's going to be right there with him. Logan Henderson continues to pitch well. 5 starts. He's got a 1.75 ERA, 25 innings, and 34 strikeouts down there for him. Outside of that, I mean, some solid pitching. Caleb Bowman, 23 games, 41 innings, 35 strikeouts for him. Tyler Wosener, 2.66 ERA, 4 starts, 20 innings, 29 strikeouts. So Brewers, I mean, they got some solid arms. Through and through at each level. That jumps us down into the high A. We got to look at high A Timber Rattlers right now. First half, they went 42-24. They won their division there in the first half of the season. So great stuff there out of the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. That tells you how long we haven't talked about Timber Rattlers. It's been a while. To start the second half here in the Midwest, they're 9-6 to start the second half of the season. They're still got that plus 27 run differential there, so good stuff there. 8-2 in their last 10 games. Looking at the bats, I mean, they got some solid averages. Nothing crazy, but some solid. This is the average I was talking about with Mike Bovee. I mean, he doesn't play down there right now, but a .553 average, 21 hits and 38 at-bats before the Brewers called him up to Double-A. That's crazy. That is crazy right there. But looking at the great averages across the board for high A, Gregory Berrios, he's at 75 hits and 231 at-bats, 34 RBIs. Great stuff out of Berrios there. Yadier Arminio batting .311 down there, 286 at-bats, 89 hits in that stretch there. Eduardo Garcia, 15 hits and 56 at-bats with a .268 average. Dylan O'Reilly, 61 hits and 229 at-bats, that .261 average. Luis Lara, a great prospect for the Brewers. He's got a .243 average there on the season right now. Outside of that, I mean, some decent hitting going on all around for the Brewers down there, or for the Timber Rattlers down there right now. But looking, I just recalled. So just talked about Gregory Berrios there, and actually, I just remembered this one. Gregory Berrios was in the trade for Savali. So Gregory Berrios is now a part of the Tampa Bay Rays organization out there. So we just lost Gregory Berrios. This guy's batting .325 down there at high A. He's a talent. So maybe Gregory Berrios comes to bite us back, right? Maybe he comes back to bite us back with the Tampa Bay Rays there. I don't know. I just was double checking there because I was like, I remember that name there. I clicked in on him. I was like, yep, Brewers traded him. That's right. The Brewers traded him there. So looking at the pitching side for the high A Timber Rattlers, Casey Hunt, he's been solid, 2.62 ERA there. 5 starts for him on the year, 34 innings and 50 strikeouts. Great stuff in the strikeout department. Craig Yoho, he was called up to Double-A recently there, but 16 games, .44 ERA. The guy was great down there at this level. Outside of that, not a whole lot of greatness. I'm trying to find some solid ERAs, like Alexander Corneal, 12 starts, 3.10 ERA, 61 innings, and 50 strikeouts. Solid stuff. They got solid ERAs. We got Brian Fitzpatrick. He's sitting at a 3.24. Herrera is sitting at a 3.40. Yerlin Rodriguez, 3.68. And Chase Costello, 3.98. So some solid ERAs across the board there for the high A Timber Rattlers as they continue going towards the postseason here. Looking at the Carolina Mudcats, they've won the North in the First half, 41-24 is what the Mudcats finished at there. To start this second half of the season for the Mudcats down there, I mean, not a terrible start, 7-7 to start the second half here. They're sitting in third in that North after winning it in the first half. Looking at the bats for them down there, nothing really to write home about. Average-wise, hitting-wise for the Carolina Mudcats, nothing crazy. Right now, we see Tayden Hall, first baseman, 31 hits and 82 at-bats. He's batting .378. Yoshua Garcia, left fielder, he's got 69 hits and 221 at-bats down there, .312 average. Cooper Pratt, this is a talent he's in the futures game for the Brewers there, a great talent, shortstop down there, drafted last year, 67 hits and 223 at-bats. He's got 300 average, 2 home runs, 2 triples, 10 doubles, great stuff out of him down there. Juan Baez, third baseman, 49 hits and 168 at-bats, 292 average. So some good stuff down there, average-wise. Jose Acosta, 269 average for him. Miguel Barricino, he's got a 265 average there. And David Garcia, catcher down there, he's got 261 average right now. Looking at the pitching side of it for the Brewers, or for the Mudcats down there, I mean, some solid arms they got working around. Nothing crazy. I mean, I look at a lot of these stats on there. You got Yorman Galliendez, 2.45 ERA in 11 starts, 40 innings and 64 strikeouts. Holy crap. 64 strikeouts, 24 more strikeouts than innings pitched. So that tells you how much, I mean, this guy is K'ing up just about everybody. So that's a crazy stat right there. Josh Noth, in 14 starts, he's got a 3.69 ERA and 61 strikeouts there for him. So holy crap, this Mudcats team is K'ing everybody up right now. It's impressive. It's impressive down there. Jefferson Figueroa, he's got 2 starts, 17 games pitched, 2.84 ERA there, 31 innings, and 42 strikeouts there. So some good stuff. Great stuff down there for the Mudcats. Like I said, I mean, just starting up that second half down there, we did see the high A and low A there for the Brewers. The Timber Rattlers and the Mudcats, they both took home first place in the first half of the season there. So they'll get into the playoffs, and hopefully we see some minor league trophies coming home there. Hopefully we see the Brewers bringing home a trophy there. But that's about all we got. That's about all we got for today. Tomorrow, we're going to get into the All-Star rosters because they did release them now. They released the full rosters, not just the starters. They released the full rosters. I want to get into that. We got lots to get into tomorrow. We ran long today. Fresh on the Farm Report, had to get to it. I told you guys I was getting to it last week. Didn't have time. We got to it to start this week. We'll start doing it on Mondays. Mondays will be the Fresh on the Farm day. Fresh on the Farm day on Monday. Hopefully it doesn't rain every time we do Fresh on the Farm Reports. That's all I know. Because I'm sick of the rain. Probably got like 3 to 4 inches out there already right now. It's rained this entire time. We've been shooting for 53 minutes. It's been raining the entire time. So I can't wait. I can't wait to see what it looks like out there. But with that, this has been Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trades. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys did. And like I always tell you, down in the bio of the podcast, you can go in there to send us a message. Click that. You can send some message to us. Let us know anything that you want to hear us talk about on the show here, anything like that. You can click that, send it in. Also, don't forget, rate the show wherever you're listening. Rate it on there. Leave a review. That's the greatest thing. Greatest thing is when people leave a review, so they let us know what they liked, what they didn't like. You can tell us what you want to hear about, anything like that. You can let us know on there. I mean, great stuff. Hopefully the weather clears out and we can talk about some great weather coming up here pretty soon. But with that, this has been Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trade. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed the rest of your Monday. But until I talk to you guys again tomorrow, deuces.
Yeah, oh my Lord, watch me sway. Darkness falls and we all pray, hoping for the light of day. Down to the river I have held the devil's hand, felt the weight of my own sin, burdened by the heart of man. Down to the river, down to the river.